So hurricanes are some of the most powerful forces on the face of planet Earth. They have winds on excess and sustained at 157, some at 160 miles per hour, and some of the most costliest damaging storms, at least here in the United States. So today I want to take a moment to help dissect these storms a little bit and help explain how they form and why they form. So they form out in the tropics. Temperatures of the waters usually around 80 degrees or higher. That's more ideal. You have a moist air mass across the ocean around the equator, and again, this can also be in the Gulf as well. Then you start to have an area of low pressure that will start to form. That's usually formed by rising motion of the air. Again, you don't have a whole lot of winds aloft. The air begins to rise, and it's just continuously rising motion, and it eventually starts to get a little stronger. You don't have a whole lot of winds aloft because, again, that's shear. We don't want a whole lot of shear associated with these hurricanes. That's what kind of destroys a hurricane, is when you have shear, kind of the opposite of a tornado. So as the system starts to rise and you have continuous rising air, they start to come in just a little bit faster. They start to come in fast enough where you start to have that circular rotation, and that's when the hurricane kind of starts that twisting motion. Again, very strong upward motion. The air spins around the low pressure area, and then eventually it gets stronger and becomes a tropical depression. Usually minimum impacts are expected. Winds are usually less than 39 miles per hour. And then the next stage is when we start to actually name it. That's the tropical storm. Again, the rising air has intensified, stronger winds ranging from 39 to 73 miles per hour. Again, that's when we start to name it. Next stage is when it actually reaches what we call an actual hurricane, ranging from Cat 1 to Cat 5 on the Sapphire Simpson scale. Again, Cat 1 is greater than 74 miles per hour. Dangerous winds, extensive damage is possible even at a Cat 1 into Cat 2. Once we reach Cat 3 strength, which is about 115 plus miles per hour, that's when we have a major hurricane and can be potentially very dangerous. Again, some of the winds can be as high as 155 at the Cat 5 level. And that's when you actually start to see the eye wall be more well defined. The stronger the system, the more well defined that eye wall is. Kind of like being on a ride at the fair, the orbital ride, and you're against the wall and it's spinning so fast. Well, that's kind of what's happening here in the center. The winds are circulating so fast, and that's how you have that area, that eye wall. Again, when it's not spinning that fast, you don't have well-defined eye wall, as we see with tropical storms and even Cat 1 and maybe even Cat 2 hurricanes. But 3 and higher is when that eye wall gets more well-defined. So just a little look at the Sapphire-Simpson scale from 1 to 5. Again, even a 1, Cat 1, is still potentially dangerous, and 4 to 5 is when we start to see more catastrophic damage associated with these systems. And some of the costliest hurricanes in history was Katrina in 2005, mainly from the storm surge and the flooding that it impacted. Again, 2017 was a fairly active year from Harvey and Maria and Irma, all of them Category 4 storms. So something to keep in mind. Hope you learned a little something about how these systems form, because they are potentially very dangerous, and they even can be very deadly, especially along the coast and even out in the Caribbean. Thank you for watching. I'm meteorologist Chase Ward.